Hey everyone, it's LOZA and welcome to another LOZA Dark Magician Fusion Spell rant. We've done this on the channel a couple of times. There's even an old video here where I will probably cover the exact same topics. You can see I've got Secrets vs. Ref here, and well, it's always the topic of conversation, isn't it? So let's get into detail as to why Dark Magician needs a good fusion spell and why Secrets, quite frankly, is just not good. Now, if you're watching this video, listening to it, it's going to be more like a podcast video. I will be flicking through the various fusion cards on the screen, but you will not really need to look at them. You can just listen. So, Secrets of Dark Magic. People seem to absolutely love this card, claiming it to be a good fusion spell. And look, guys, yes, it's okay. It's very, very average. And we'll get into why. People like to mention you can ritual or fusion summon. Let's be real, you basically never ritual summon, so you may as well just write that whole effect off. And the fusion summoning has to use a DM or DMG, which is a little awkward when, you know, some of our cards they want us to play are Palladiums, but anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's just compare this card straight up to the card on the left, because that's always a great start, and it really just shits on the people who enjoy Secrets. Apologies to those people. You'll notice any deck list I've put out only ever plays Secrets at 1 or none, okay? It's a 1 or none. That alone should give your argument for Secrets being good 0 credit. I'm just saying. You've never heard anyone outside of maybe Team Sam run a deck profile and be like, best card in the deck, so crack. Oh, we play 1. Yeah, we just play 1 because, yeah, you don't want to break on it. Okay? That doesn't happen, okay? If a card's at 1, I hate to tell you this, guys, but the card fucking sucks. And that is the honest truth of it, okay? The card is bad. Or it's just too situational or a bit niche or highly searchable, okay? There's reasons why a card would be at 1. But if a card was so good in a deck, it'd be a 3, okay? And don't act like that's not true. Now let's take a look at Red Eye's Fusion. You fusion summon a Red Eyes, you summon Dragoon, right? Let's not beat around the bush, we don't even have to read it. It sends the material from hand or deck or field to the grave. And then it summons Dragoon. So it puts Dark Magician and Red Eyes in your grave from hand or field or deck, and then you get Dragoon. 1 card Dragoon. What more is there to say? 1 card Dragoon. Yeah, everybody and their dog will say it loses to Ash, yeah, whatever. Every fusion spell loses to Ash, so like before we can say anything about Ash Blossom, it's like that's a fusion spell diff moment. Like there's nothing you can do about that. Secrets, yeah, doesn't lose to Ash, however, you have to have 2 other cards. You need a Dark Magician and a Dragon. And if they're in your hand or field, yeah, you're not having a good time going neg. So it's not great, okay? It feels bad to resolve Secrets of Dark Magic because you use 3 cards, and man, you better hope that Dragoon wins you the game because you've got 2 other cards in your hand to play with. 2 other cards in Dark Magician is not going to get you anywhere. Even if it's Circle Eternal Soul, you're probably not having a good time because you have to play that circle, hope it hits, so your Dragoon then has a discard card, right? Now let's compare Secrets to something more realistic. First, let's look at Shadow Fusion, because this is a fusion spell I often compare Ref to and say, you know, we're pretty much this. It's pretty much what we need. Fusion summon a Shadow Fusion from extra deck using monsters from hand or field. Oh, it doesn't use deck, but then if your opponent has a monster special from the extra deck, you can use your deck. Something like that could be really nice. It's obviously not as good going first, but going second it becomes much, much better, which is kind of really good. Kind of exactly what the deck wants, because I feel like Shadows want to go first anyway and set up Winder. So, you know, this just gives you an advantage going second. Now, Secrets of Dark Magic is more like this card right here. El Shadow Fusion. And why we're going to look at the 2 Shadow cards is going to be clear very soon. So, this is basically Secrets, text for text. Fusion summon a Shadow Fusion from extra deck using monsters from hand or field as material. Besides the fact that this stupid card says you have to use DM or DMG, and this one's even more flexible, even though it's older. You know, you can only use 1 per turn, blah, blah, blah. Secrets is not once per turn, ironically, but like, once again, you're not going to be resolving 2 secrets in a turn. You're lucky if you resolve 1. So anyway, El Shadow Fusion is a quick play fusion spell, just like Secrets, and they pretty much get used in the same kind of ways. Guess how many Shadow players play? It's normally 1. It's normally 1, guys. Why do you think that is? Well, it's just an old fusion card, isn't it? Fusing using hand and field is really just not great. It's a 1 or none kind of scenario, okay? But now if we look at Shadow Fusion, if you look at any Shadow list ever, you will see this card at 3. And, you know, if you take 5 seconds to think about it, you go, yeah, it makes sense, because this card's good always, and this card's only good if you're kind of, mid-game or you're pushing for game, right? It makes a lot of sense to play the fusion spell that's good at 3 and the one that's not so good at 1. So in Dark Magician, we don't have the good fusion spell. We only have the one you play at 1. Hence why I play Ref and encourage people to play it. Obviously, you can't use Ref and Secrets in the same turn, but that's just the flaw of Dark Magician not having its own fusion spell. Obviously, if we had our own Shadow Fusion, and then Secrets would be our El Shadow Fusion, all of that would make a lot more sense, right? We wouldn't be locked into no summons from Red Eye's Fusion. So anyway, in short, you can see that Secrets is basically El Shadow Fusion, but we're missing our Shadow Fusion, if you will. Now, we're going to go into some more comparisons, because, man, people really like Secrets. And I'm not trying to burst their bubble, but I've answered these comments so many times, and people tell me I'm a hypocrite, and people tell me this and that, and I'm just like, look, man, I just call it how it is, and for some reason, people seem to get offended when I say Secrets sucks. I'm not sure, like, is your soul tied to Secrets? Because every time I'm like, damn, Secret's kind of a bad card, people are like, it's not bad. And I'm just like, oh, here we go again. So this video is a response to any of those people out there who just love their Secrets of Dark Magic. It's a wake-up call, if anything. And I mean, feel free to go off in the comments and try to convince me otherwise, but Secrets is bad. So here's Branded Fusion. You fusion a summon, you do fusion summon, who would have guessed? You fusion a fusion monster that mentions Albaz by sending the material from your hand deck field. Can't special for the rest of the turn except fusions. Wow. You notice it sends the material from deck. Kind of insane. Let's read another fusion spell. Special, a fusion monster from extra deck that lists exactly 2 monsters, including 1 elemental hero Neos, by sending the monsters from hand deck field ignoring summoning conditions. Wow, Neos fusion kind of good. But there's more. For the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you can't special summon. Okay, that's kind of fair. But then there's more. If a fusion monster you control that lists Neos as material would be destroyed by a battle or card effect, or shuffled into the extra deck by its own effect, banish this card from grave instead. Protection within a fusion spell that uses a vanilla monster as its main material. Forgive me if you haven't heard this one before, but we could have the exact same card as this. Just swap out the elemental hero Neos in quotation marks for Dark Magician. And this would copy-paste be ideally what we want. Anyway, moving right along to Fusion Destiny. Fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck that mentions Destiny hero monster as material, using monsters from hand or deck as fusion material, but destroy it during the end phase of the next turn. Also, for the rest of this turn after it resolves, you can only summon dark hero monsters. Makes a lot of sense in the Destiny hero deck. It would make a lot of sense in DM too if we had a similar card, and it could lock us into Dark Spellcasters, DM related cards. Doesn't really matter. It could just work. Another option going forward. And you won't believe it, but the Exodia archetype. The Exodia archetype got a fusion card before us, and it's got its own unique method. Take 5 Forbidden One monsters from the hand deck or face-up field, reveal them, special a Phantom God Exodia Incarnate from your extra deck. So it's not actually fusion summoning, it's special summoning, but it still acts as a fusion spell, right? And then you shuffle all the face-up monsters you control into the deck, except for the Exodia level 10, or Millennium monsters, which is the new kind of Exodia monster, guys. Also, you can't special for the rest of the turn, but you can set, and after activation, shuffle this card in the deck instead of sending it to the grave. So a really interesting new take on special summoning a fusion monster. It's not technically a fusion spell or fusion card, but, you know, it kind of is at the same time. So that's another route we could go down, because if the fusion monster is summoned this way through a special summon, it's illegally summoned, and that means if it hits the grave, you can't bring it back. So if they were worried about the Dark Magician fusion spell being too cracked, wow, you could almost put restrictions on it. Or other restrictions, like Branded Fusions one, locking you to fusions. Neo's Fusion, locking you into no summons. Fusion Destiny, locking you into Dark Heroes only after this. Like, there's just so many things they can do, but they won't. Or rather, they haven't. Perhaps in future they will. But anyway, to get back to the original point of this video, do not settle for mediocre cards. Do not think that Secrets is the answer. Secrets could have been printed in the year 2000. Secrets could have come out with the initial Dark Magician, and it would still be a bad card. And if you disagree, go and look at the format. Look at the very first format of Summon Skull Beatdown. Where would secrets have a place there? I can tell you, it would not. And some of you might say because Dark Magician didn't have a fusion yet. And look, yes, but hey, take the Dark Magicians and put that back there too. I honestly think people would still not play it. Fusion cards back then were just not a thing. It was metamorphosis or bust, right? So, if you really read secrets and don't think this card would have not seen play 20 years ago, I don't know, man. Maybe Yu-Gi-Oh's not the card game for you, unfortunately. Like, I don't know. I'm obviously being a bit negative here, but the card is not good. Yes, it can give you game sometimes. Yes, it can help bring out your fusion monsters. Is it good for card advantage? No. Is it good as a main deck's fusion, like, card? No. Maybe if the cards we were sending to the grave had effects when they hit the grave, or had banish effects in the grave. Or maybe if the fusion monster we summoned somehow recurred the resources that we used for it, similar to Invocation, or something like that. However, you'll notice that no, Dark Magician doesn't have a way to get back the cards it used for the fusion, outside of haha, Eternal Soul summon DM back, which is obviously very telegraphed and everyone knows this. There's not really a way to get any value back. Some people might mention, oh, the Dark Magicians let you draw one. Well, listen, buddy, the Dark Magicians isn't going to be around for long. And the weird thing is, if you summon the Dark Magicians, guess what? You need to have another spell trap in your hand to activate just to get that draw. So you're not actually drawing back the cards you've used, you know? You've used 3 cards to get to Dark Magicians. And now you've got to play a 4th card to get a draw off the Dark Magician. You're not even close to going plus. Like, you are so far from having good card advantage. It's insane. Yeah, drawing 1's nice. It could have been draw 2, and it would still be quite balanced, I would say. So, look. Secrets? Not a good card, ultimately. I don't know what else to say. It's proof in deck lists. If you see a list playing more than one secret, it's very questionable. Secrets is a one-off because it can be recycled with Soul Servant. You're probably never ever going to resolve more than 1 a turn. And quite frankly, it's just not that good a card. Even in branded builds with Matchy, he plays Secrets at 1. Why do we play it at 1, guys? If Secrets is such a good card, why is it played at 1? I think it's as simple as that. So anyway, this is kind of my video saying I'm not going to reply to a single comment in future that goes over secrets or says anything regarding secrets being our fusion spell. Because so many times in the comment section, people are like, damn, I hope we get a DM fusion spell soon. And people are like, you already have it, it's secrets. And it's like, no. Guy, that's not a fusion spell. Once again, El Shaddol Fusion is like secrets. This Shaddol Fusion is the fusion spell. El Shaddol Fusion is like the extension fusion spell to push for game or make plays to dodge hand traps. Like, this is not the way to fusion summon in 2024. And these cards are proof of that. These cards are proof that using hand and field for a fusion summon is not the normal way to do it anymore. Invoked also says, hey, I'm going to use the opponent's graveyard, right? Super Poly says, I'm going to use, hopefully, both the opponent's cards. Using a fusion card in 2024, this is the first extra deck mechanic, fusion. Using fusion, there has to be a way to cheat it, right? There has to be a gimmick. You cannot rely on a card that is essentially a quick play polymerization in the year 2024. It's just a fact. And that's why I'm hoping the new Gold Sark DM stuff can hopefully take us down a different path to get us away from Circle, away from Eternal Soul, and maybe away from Secrets. Well, I mean, Secrets can still be played in it, which is kind of cool. But once again, how many did I play? I played 1. But anyway, I digress. You get what I'm saying. Secrets is just not it, Chief. Secrets is just not it. Compare Secrets to any of the fusion spells I've laid before you, you will understand. I don't think I'm being unfair in that assessment. I understand it's searchable via Rod and Soul Servant and the deck. Circle even can add it. Wow, Circle adding a card, crazy. But it's just not it. Like, Circle can add this and, like, you do nothing, right? 1 card hand, Circle, play Circle, add Secrets. What? Nothing. Fucking nothing. Imagine if in-archetype Red Eyes Fusion was a thing. Circle adding in-archetype DM Fusion would be a pop-off, right? That would even warrant Circle being played at least 2, I would say. The fact that you could add the DM Fusion kind of spell. So anyway, I think I've repeated myself enough here. I think it's very, very clear and direct. Those who claim Secrets is our fusion spell, you are so far gone. You are so far down the rabbit hole of kissing Konami's ass, and I'm not sure why. Because this is not a card to be praised for. This is not a card to enjoy. It's not a card that sparks joy, and it sure as hell doesn't win too many games. And when it does, it's not because your opponent bricked. So how good does that feel? Yeah, I use the Master of Chaos combo on Master Duel to kill people. It happens on stream. It's normally when the opponent passes turn. Yeah, it's cool that we have that niche use of it. Is it really relevant? No, not really. I'd rather just have a good fusion spell. We use what we have because it's what we have. It doesn't mean we shouldn't hope for better and hope for a just good fusion spell in future. And I think a lot of people discredit the fact that we could get a ritual, a pure ritual, or a pure fusion spell in future. And yes, before you say Chaos Form, I'm aware of Chaos Form's existence. Card's not great either. The card's not great. We could get a dedicated new Secrets, which is just better. Just does the fusion and ritual summoning better. It could not be quick play as long as it just does it better. The other option is, if they don't want to tie Secrets into being both a ritual and a fusion card, great, because I don't think we use it for the ritual capabilities. Why don't just split it into 2? Make a fusion spell, make a ritual spell, make them good. Make them good, make them playable. It's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. I know DarkMagician has elements of early decks. You know, it's meant to be the deck that has a little bit of everything. We've got some Xyzs, we've got some sinks. We don't have sinks, I lied. We've got some fusions, mainly fusions though, and we've got some what's it called, rituals. But let's be real, the 3 rituals we have, they're all right. They're pretty good. They can do some crazy stuff. Dodo will show you that. However, the fusions are really where it's at. Our fusions have definitely been the focus of the deck. So I think we need a dedicated fusion spell. It's been 25 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! 25 years, and there's not a good DarkMagician fusion spell. Maybe the Golden Sarcophagus archetype will provide us this, but I highly doubt it, since that DarkMagician is only DarkMagician while on the field. But I am hoping for some nice support out of that little engine, because it's pretty cool. And probably one of the only things giving me hope right now for the future of DM. I literally made a video probably a week before the Gold Sark DarkMagician got announced, being like, the future of DM looks grim, like all our cards are being reworked into non-DM cards. And you know what, even the Gold Sark DM stuff is kind of that as well. It kind of plays into that theory I had, where, yo, they're just reworking DM cards to not be DM. It's kind of still happening with the Golden Sark DM Mirror Force and the Golden Sark DM. It's very strange, unless they're going to make it actually work. But anyway, coming back to Secrets, man. I think I've said enough. I think you guys get it. There is so much that needs to happen for Secrets to be considered, you know, a 2 or 3, I would say. It's a 1. And it's a 1 for a reason. And that's the end of this discussion. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming. I know people who are enjoyers of the channel or followed me for a while would know my take on Secrets already. They'd know how much I hate it. I was convinced by my community to start playing it again just at 1. And yeah, you know what? It does have those niche times where it's good. Sometimes you're able to search it and it does cool things. Absolutely, it can happen, but it's just not all the time. It's just inconsistently good. It can also just be in your hand and do nothing, which is the most grim situation of all. Like a fusion spell that's dead in the hand, like, huh? Not really a thing in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! As per the other fusion spells we've seen. So please, no more telling me Secrets is not a good card. No more. I shan't have it anymore. I shall not. I won't engage in any conversations about Secrets moving forward. Everyone knows my take on it. It's just, I'm only spitting the facts. I'm not trying to offend people. It's just the truth. The card is mid. And on that note, have a wonderful evening. If you'd like to like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel, that is very based. There's also a members thing where you can donate to me. I think it's like $1 or $2 a month. And, you know, that just helps me keep the channel alive when I can and upgrade my gear. So that's really cool. So thank you very much to all those who support me, especially when I live stream. And thank you to those who support my goals for DM to be a competitive deck and to actually be able to strive and play at a locals without being laughed at, you know? It's grim out here for a DM player. But, like, hey, let's hope we get some good new support in the Golden Sock stuff or just normal DM stuff in future. Let's hope we get that baddie fusion spell. I have been your boy LOZA, and I'm out of here. Peace.